No matter how urgent it seems, or no matter how difficult, painful, or wrong, or whatever it is, unless somebody's laying there bleeding to death, it's usually never going to be the best thing to take action right then. Some kind of action is still needed. And we have to take care that we don't let the space happen so much that we forget and we don't take action at all. Because that also happens, doesn't it? That can happen really easily to us where we say, oh, I'm going to act on that. I'm going to call this person. I'm going to do this thing. Right. And I mean, I usually am the one that I do take action on stuff, but I also know, because I've also been like a bull in a crystal shop before too. I've experienced that before, Do you guys remember when we had Hurricane Harvey? It was so great. So many people came forward to help, and just such amazing hearts, but there started becoming some problems because people were just blasting in and helping. There was an overabundance of things being given away. There was now a problem on what are we going to do with this, and people were just showing up, to people to help them work on their house, and maybe they didn't know what they were doing. Or so what's needed in a case like that is space. You got to have the space. And you guys study in Viktor Frankl, one of his primary things that he'll tell you, no matter what it is you're seeing, the reaction is never going to support you, that you've got to have space. Except if there's somebody falling on the floor having a heart attack, get into CPR. But you still have to check things first. You still have to check the airway. You still have to check the pulse. You still have to take the time to check before you just start banging on somebody's chest and blowing the air. You've got to take some time. This is important because this is one of the most sovereign spaces that anybody can be in, because most of us will tend to think, just do, act, get in there, rescue, just do. When really we need to, before we act and we begin a strategy, we need to understand our own state of mind. Now, you planner people, I'm not talking about planning forever either. Some of you got to get it just right. It's got to be all outlined just right. I'm not talking about doing that, because that's just dropping into the dorsal vagal response, right? The dorsal vagal response is the lower autonomic nervous system response found within the system. It's an immobilization where then I actually never really take action under the guise of I'm giving it space. Kind of like when you need to speak truth to someone, Usually when you need to speak truth, set a boundary, or share something about yourself, usually before you do that, you want to have a strategy, but you also don't wait for forever and say, oh, I was getting around to it. It's like you've got to give yourself a period of time, and you want to be aware of where you're in the victim, villain, or the rescuer mode. And you've got to check in with your state. What is my state of mind? What is going on? And then I want to shift out of mudha. So mudha is the state of mind where we're leading with our emotion. And honestly, that's where most people make decisions. That's where most people start from. I've had plenty of students that I've worked with that have had something very difficult that's happened in their lives, and they want to blow up their life and go take care of it. And that's usually the worst thing to do. And it's what's needed is to first check in with your state. What is my state of mind? Then what's happening with my nervous system? What is my nervous system regulated? And then from there, I can start to say, okay, what is the story I'm telling myself? See, when stress happens, we say sovereign what? You know what I mean? It's like our safety mode wants to kick in, the ego, and it wants to just barrel in, but that's not the thing to do. So sovereignty is when you're aware of that. It may not go away. It may not go away because you're not here to make your ego go away. Sovereignty isn't about making your ego go away, but it's about being awake enough that you see when the ego is just trying to do its job and rescue. Sovereignty and the experience of sovereignty in sovereign relationship and sovereign leadership. Sovereign leadership is one where you are aware of your state in any given time. You have the power to extend mercy to yourself for the natural things that are going to arise, that we need to extend mercy to ourselves. We have to feel what it is we're feeling. There's a lot of old programming and old triggers, and it's like, how do I respond this time? How am I going to be this time? It's time to shift my state. Sovereignty is understanding. That's our human species. And what we're experiencing right now is just part of a cycle of a momentum that's been created, and that momentum that we experience is constantly expanding. And just like the earth is expanding, we are expanding, everything's expanding. Well, the more something expands, the more you see, the more observation expands, the more awareness is expanding, the more we're able to see. There is a movement in our species of moving into a higher dimensional realm of seeing, akin to the heart chakra, where it's not just people awaken their heart chakra. We're talking about a cosmic experience of the expansion within or space, and the movement of things and the way that they're moving. And so to be sovereign, we have to be able to see our own pain, the importance of shadow work. You have to dredge it up over and over until you no longer see it as dredging something up, until it's literally in your experience, not buried away in the swamp somewhere. It's literally in your experience. Sovereignty and sovereign leadership is able to hold both the dark and the light. And understand, though, the importance of holding the dark. When I'm saying the word dark and shadow, it doesn't mean something sinister. In the realm I'm speaking of, there's nothing sinister about negativity, there's nothing sinister about dark, and there's nothing sinister about shadows. There's simply an experience that occurs. Every light is born out of dark. Where there is a star, there was dark. A very dark space. When a seedling comes up and out of the earth, it's coming up and out of the density of darkness, and it is following the light. Just like, if you're standing around, you move around, the shadow follows the light. You cannot have light without the shadow. If you were standing there and the sun's behind you and you don't see a shadow, there would be a problem. You need to figure out what's going on with you. Because if there's a light, if you're in the light, there's going to be a shadow. So when I'm speaking of negative, and when I speak of shadow, when I speak of dark, the sovereign being begins to understand that it's polarities that we're speaking of. And in these polarities, you have the positive polarity and you have the negative polarity. The positive polarity encompasses the negative polarity. This is what the yin-yang symbol means. If you ever look at the yin-yang symbol, this is exactly what that means. If you look, there's white and there's black, and in the black there's a dollop of white, and in the white there's a dollop of black. That is the integration, and that's what Swatantriya Shakti power is. This is what leads us to understand true leadership. is I have the bandwidth, I have the capacity to hold all views, to hold these varying views. And there's no judgment, like either way. It's non-hierarchical. It just is. In sovereignty, we understand there's an isness about everything. It just is. And from there, then we begin to up-level our responses from the victim, villain, rescuer. In the victim, villain, rescuer mode, we are prisoners because we walk around feeling damned if we do, damned if we don't. We feel guilty, we feel ashamed, we feel wrong. We must learn what the laws of nature are and understand that within ourselves. And then that's when we begin to wake up and stay aware. When you wake up and stay aware, you're going to need to be willing to see those patterns that come up and come back to mercy. Regulate your nervous system and start to move more and more into understanding. What does ambiguity mean? And real simple. And just remember, what state am I in now? Where am I? And I don't do anything until I shift this state. Then you get after your physiology. You start working with your breath. Have mercy for yourself. And then start looking at the story you're telling yourself. And then open up. And honestly, you just say, "Dear God, what do I do?" Namaste.